Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And first news we got this time is actually from late last week, and it's pretty much how the development schedule is going to be. And first thing GG says is that this league, so the Abyss League, is going to run for 12 weeks, which means it's going to end on February 26. And the time displayed here is actually in your time zone, so if you have any doubt when exactly it ends, be sure to check this post and you will have the exact time in your specific time zone, so that's pretty good. And since GGG is now back on a 3-month schedule, they don't really have time to run middle leagues like mayhem, turmoil events and all the kind of stuff, but they are still aware that many of the community members are keen for more races, so we'll probably get some kind of weird event sooner or later. But still, I prefer they actually concentrate on the actual leagues rather than these mid-time events, because anyway, people still need some cooldown time between a league and another. It's just a very small portion of the population who actually plays it 24/7, so I feel like having a small time frame, like 1 week time frame between one league and another, it's actually going to be pretty good for the game, and it's going to retain players much more than it would otherwise. Anyway, in a couple of weeks we'll start getting news from the next leagues, and in 3 weeks we'll get pretty much all of the details that we are actually interested in. I am personally hoping for more skills. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure it's going to be really interesting. And it's also going to be the 3.2 update, which is just a new challenge league and the usual updates. I say that, but it's still going to be a lot of very interesting stuff. Also, we got some league statistics. First one is the top 10 run areas in Abyss, and you can see the Twilight Strand for the first time on the top, and that is definitely due to the Onigoroshi farming, which went crazy a couple weeks ago, and well, it's definitely going to be really good. It's also going to be an extremely good starter build for whatever build you want, if you can use it, because well, you can get it from level 0 and level up with it, so definitely going to see some or many of those builds in the next league, if GGG permits it by just not nerfing it for some reason. And anyway, you can also see the normal farming zone, especially for hardcores. The Blood Aqueduct and the Arid Lake are very good farming zones. And there's also the Abyssal Depth, which is pretty surprising, because that means that there's enough Abyssal Depth to actually counter other areas like maps that are run 24/7, so pretty interesting there. Also, you can see the top 10 maps, which are again pretty good maps to farm and not very high level maps as well, because most of the population actually plays lower level maps if they ever get to maps. That is, top 5 white maps, it's not very different from this one. Top 5 yellow maps, it's actually Vault. Well, it's not surprising, Vault is consider one of the best maps for the possibility of dropping, and also the card for the Exalts dropping there, so that's pretty good. Atoll, Dunes, Shore and Jungle Valley are all good density or very good layouts, so no surprise there. And then there's top 5 red maps, which is Feather Forest, Waterways, Race Course, Coves and Torture Chamber. I'm surprised about the Torture Chamber, that's probably because it has very high density nowadays, or I don't even know why. Maybe there's some fragment in there, something. I'm not sure why the Torture Chamber is there. I'm very surprised. It's probably not considering the shaped maps, because otherwise we will see something like Toxic Sewers and the likes, or the similar map that's actually tier 14 when shaped. Not sure about the name right now. Also, we can see the popularity of the classes, and well, you can see for the Abyss, which is not a hardcore league, you can see the Slayer for the Lich is on top. Raider, Inquisitor, Necromancer and Berserker are pretty good. Ascendant is also considered really good. Going down to the Hierophant and Deadeye and Occultist, which are classes that most the people just take with Ascendant, because you get most of the buffs anyway. So that's probably the classes that GG is looking to actually kind of buff maybe a little. Although this is the best distribution that GG has ever gotten, so they're pretty happy with that, but still it definitely needs some work. As far as Hardcore Abyss goes, well, Necromancer is still in the top position. That's because it's really safe with minions or some Raging Spirits. It's also really safe for the offerings, which you can apply to yourself, giving yourself a lot of block or speed, depending on the situation. So Necromancer really strong. Against Slayer for the Leech, Inquisitor for the damage, Juggernaut and Gladiator for the survivability. And you can see the distribution is a little bit better than what was into the standard thing, but not that much. I mean, beside a couple differences on the top, pretty much everything is the same on the bottom. So I'm sure GGG is using this data to actually get more balance next league, if so we can say. And well, it seems like GGG is also looking for a senior environment artist and a senior texture artist. Being senior roles, it means you have to have at least a couple years of experience in the field or in something similar, and that goes for both of the jobs. So, well, if you're just a random guy who's trying out, it's not going to work. But if you're actually a senior artist for environment or textures, you can definitely try it out. I'm sure this is actually a pretty damn cool work to do, even though it still works. So people kind of think that working at their dream company is going to be like happiness all the time. That's definitely not the case, but still it's something you love, so it's definitely better than usual. And if you kind of fits into these abilities, definitely try it out. It might be the job of your life, who knows. But anyway, we also got some highlights from the talent competition, which is still running until February 5th, and we're really close, but it's not done yet. So there's GGG actually compiled a video with a lot of submissions because they were in different formats, so they said why not. And you can also see all of those going down here. There's some really cool stuff, definitely. Personally, I really like this type of artworks, although I'm not sure if they're gonna win, but they are definitely really cool. I'm totally a fan of this one, even though the map totally does not deserve this cool artwork. But anyway, last thing we got during the week is a pretty good one, even though most people are not even going to notice, is the fact that GGG kind of added some server-side performance improvements, which pretty much reduces the amount of problems like latency, feels like latency issues that people were having during extreme intense fights, intense situations where maybe your game gets potated by the scale resolution, all the kind of stuff. The server also had some problems in those cases, and now they're gonna have a lot less problems, which means that you are going to have less problems, and mostly you will not even notice the fact that you're in a huge situation. Definitely Nothing playing builds like magma orbs with 1000 magma orbs is not going to help this, because a lot of people are going to copy those builds and the servers are going to pretty much roll over and die, which is not the case and hasn't been the case for a long time. So it's pretty cool. It feels like GGG has actually improved a lot, even though the best improvement you can do to the game is actually getting a good computer. That's literally the best thing you can do. But other than that, GGG has definitely been improving the game over and over during the pretty much all of the time. So, well, hopefully we get to an even fluider and better experience, especially with the new leagues coming off in a couple weeks. So that was all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.